Welcome to Serenity Rising, Healing with Cancer. I'm Bron, and I want to welcome you to not just a podcast, but to a community, a new way of seeing, feeling and walking through the chaos of cancer. So, my guest today has one of those stories that stops you mid-breath. She was born in Argentina, immigrated to the United States at 31, and at 42 decided to start her Bachelor of Social Work. She graduated at 46 and just weeks later after crossing that stage, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She's a psychotherapist, a trauma specialist, an inspirational public speaker, and the host of her own podcast, Keeping It Real with Zulma, the swearing therapist. Can't wait for that bit. She is the founder of the Dragonfly Therapy Services, and she survived cancer, abusive relationships, depression, and suicidal ideation. And she has never, not once, seen herself as a victim. In 2025, she celebrated her 60th birthday in Hawaii, and by December of that year, she has moved to Panama, oh my Lord, where she wakes up every morning to the sounds of waves. Her motto, I had cancer. Cancer did not have me. Please welcome Zulma Williams. Welcome, my friend. It is so good to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. We are going to have a lot of fun.
We are going to have a great time. Right, so let's get straight to it. I want to hear, how did we get here? So take us through that time of when you went through diagnosis just after starting your new professional life.
Yes. So I was, as you said, I was born and raised in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I moved to the United States at 31. At 42, I was working in accounting and kind of like thinking about my future. I'm like, I'm not sure I want to do this for another 25 years. And I always had a passion for helping people. So it was like, okay, I want to be a therapist. I want to fulfill my dream of being a therapist. And for that, I had to go to school. So I started at 42, graduated at 46. I was on track to do my master's. And 6 weeks after graduation, I got diagnosed with breast cancer because life is what happens when you have other plans. So at the very beginning, when I got the diagnosis, my first reaction was, why me? Right. And then at the time, my mom was still alive. So I had my mom, I had a sister, I had nieces, and I had girlfriends. And then I started thinking, if it wasn't me, would I have preferred that was one of them who got the diagnosis?
Wow.
And the answer is no. So I changed the question from why me to why not me.
Yeah.
And then I had a decision to make, which was I could sit in the corner and wait to die, or I can stand up and fight. Well, spoiler alert, here I am. So I chose the latter.
Oh, that's
Changing the question from why me to why not me move me away from the victim mentality. Because when we start like, oh, why me? Why not you? I'm so passionate, my earpiece fell off. Why not you? Why are you so fucking special that you shouldn't have this diagnosis? And if you have children, I invite you to kind of like put it on your children. If I didn't have the diagnosis, well, I prefer that my daughter or my son had the diagnosis. And that's going to change your perspective immediately. And then you have a decision to make. So I took care of my health. I moved back to Argentina, actually, to be close to my family. And then I was like, no, I want to celebrate my 50th birthday back in the US. I used to live in Las Vegas at the time of the diagnosis. So I was like, okay, I want to go back to Las Vegas. And I, out of nowhere, I got an email on my personal email from the university saying like, hey, we have the master program, the advanced master program back. Do you want to enroll? Yes, I do want to enroll. So I moved back to Las Vegas. I celebrated my 50th birthday and I started my master's. And that's why my motto is I had cancer. Cancer didn't have me because I didn't allow cancer to define me and my future. right? If
Yeah.
anything, cancer came to show me how bad I wanted to be a therapist. Because nobody would have blamed me if I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do my master's. I go back to accounting. I had
Wow.
cancer. Okay, I had cancer. Cancer didn't have me. And that can be applied to any challenge anybody is facing,
Yeah.
right? Because it doesn't have to be a diagnosis. And if we think back to our own lives, this is not being a Pollyanna, oh my God, you're going to be okay. Like, no, this
No.
is you looking back at your own life and really account for all the shit that you've been through, and that shit could not take you out. Why is this particular challenge any different than all the other challenges you already overcame?
Yeah. I love that. Wow. So cool. Because I consciously made sure I used the words back in the day, the cancer, because it's not my cancer. Like, it grew in me. I didn't grow in it. So I love that. So take me back to when you said you have choices and you chose to stand, because everybody who's living through cancer comes to that crossroad, which is you can either have the cancer or my cancer. Tell me about that time. What was running through your brain?
So when I moved back, so I had surgery and radiation in the United States, and then when I moved back to Argentina, I went to hospital specialized in cancer over there, and they came up with this treatment that implied chemo. And I said, what is the percentage? And they were like 50-50. I said, no, you had to do better than that. And by no
Mm,
means this is medical advice for our
no,
listeners. Like,
yeah,
you
we don't
had
do
to
medical
do
advice here.
what is best for you. I'm just talking about my own experience.
Correct.
And I was like, no, you got to do better than that, because I'm not going to poison my entire body just in case that one cancer cell got missed. And it's like, you got to give me 80-20, not
Yeah.
50-50. So it was a huge nightmare. In my oncologist, she is a woman, and she told me if it was me, I will do it. And I said, with all due respect, doctor, it is not you. This is
Right.
my body. So when
Mm.
you have a diagnosis, and I hope you don't, then you make the best decision for you. So I told them, like, going to Argentina from the United States, I told them, like, hey, I sign you whatever you like. I'm not going to sue you if the cancer comes back. This decision is based on research that I have done, and I need a better percentage for me to take that risk. So I met with the attorneys, and like it was a nightmare because
Wow, it was
I
that
was
significant.
yes, because I was risking not being accepted as a patient because I was not following the
Their
hospital
protocol.
protocol,
Yeah.
right? So I signed everything, whatever. And then all of a sudden, because at the time of my diagnosis, I still had my period. So
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden, I make this big deal, and they come up with a different treatment that it was, I think, don't quote me on that, but I think it was immunotherapy, although they didn't tell
Immunotherapy.
me that at the time,
Mhm.
that it was for postmenopausal women. And that's why they didn't offer that to me. But what they did is they induced me into menopause chemically. So
Wow.
I was getting a shot so I didn't get my period so I can do this treatment. No shit, Sherlock. So see, there was an alternative. But if I
Wow.
didn't advocate for myself, I would have done the chemo because that's the cookie cutter.
Approach. Yeah. I call that, and I'm very, very passionate about being the CEO of your ecosystem, which means who's on your committee helping make and drive the decisions. And there's actually research out there, Selma, which actually tells and talks about percentages of patients who there are those who there's 20% who go, well, I knew this was going to happen, and then just throw up their hands, and then the Cancer does its thing. Then there's 60% of the middle, which I call passive bystanders. They just get on the wheels. They get on that cycle that we go through with treatment, and just let it happen. And then there's 20%. This based on evidence, guys. 20% who go, hang on a minute, and I'm not saying we all have to read. Go that. That's being
I'm in that
CEO of your
20%, right?
So am I. But it's not defying medicine, people. It's not having to go and do a PhD to learn how to read the scientific articles, because I know you look, but you're not a scientist unless you know a scientist. And that's the thing. Who's on your committee to help you make the best decision for you? Because when you're an active participant, which is exactly what you're talking about, it doesn't matter the outcome. What's important is that you made a decision for you and took responsibility irrespective of that outcome. And this is not about saying no to treatment. This is about being a CEO of your ecosystem, which is your body, and who's on the committee and who gets an opinion. I mean, I remember once, Zulma, I had someone message me and say, Bron, you've got to crush apricot kernels and drink them. That'll cure cancer. Guess what? It's called arsenic. Just saying. So
Right.
it's not fun. It's funny. So what I'm saying is, who's on your committee? So I love the fact that you innately did that. I love that. Welcome to the club, my friend.
Yes, and I became club because I am the CEO, and I became an active participant of my medical team, because you know about cancer, but this is my body. So we
Yes.
had to work together. You are not in charge. We are a team. Right. So my oncologist, so then when I moved back to the United States, I continue my treatment, and I love my oncologist. He is a sweet, sweet soul that he will inform me of why he is suggesting this. One time I remember that he ordered an MRI. I'm not in the United States anymore, so I think I can say this. And he said, don't read the referral because I need to word it a certain way
Yes.
for the insurance to approve it, right? Like, and so if he knew I was going to read it, and on that referral, it said like if I didn't get the MRI, I was probably going to die. Crazy, right? Like, but it got fucking approved, which is what
There
I
you
needed,
go.
right? So,
Yes.
so this I ask questions. I inform myself. I made an informed decision. It wasn't like, oh, I don't want to lose my hair. I want to know what the percentage is, because you are poisoning my entire body as a prevention for something that I might not have,
Yeah.
because I already had the surgery and I had the radiation. What are we talking about?
I think there's blood tests now there is blood tests now that actually will tell you whether the chemo will work more than just
Oh,
the blanket effect. But that's great. I love that. Now, the next question, which I ask everybody now that I've got that picture from you, which I'm so excited, is I have my word for serenity. I call it serenity. And yes, it's an old fashioned word, but we know where it comes from. And it comes from the serenity prayer, as we know, which is God grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So insert whoever you believe in. And my question, Suma, is what is your word for serenity?
my word for serenity is more than one, is to be at peace with myself.
I love
Right?
that.
So, because we make decisions, and we are all geniuses with Monday's newspaper about what happened on Sunday. But at the time that we make the decision, we may not have all the information that came afterwards. So, we have a natural tendency to judge ourselves for decisions we made in the past when the information was not available. So, how is that fair to us, right? Like, so to me, serenity means that I'm at peace with the decisions I'm making right now. Time, this is the best decision. When I have more information, I might make a different decision. But with the information that I have available to me right now, So as to not be so hard on myself of like, why did I make that decision? So I'm working very hard on being at peace with the decisions that I'm making.
And I say congratulations to you, because that's
Thank
what the
you.
CEO of an ecosystem does. And that's your path to what I call healing, because not everyone is going to get the option of a cure. So I've been, as you know, I've been in the curable lane, and obviously now I'm in the incurable lane. But do you see how we're all exactly in this space? We are responsible for the now. And it moves me to my next question, which is your motto is I had cancer, but cancer did not have me. So when did it come to you, and what does it actually mean to live by that on a daily basis?
It came to me afterwards, right? Like, so I'm happy to say I'm 14 years cancer free. But looking back, um, it was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I had cancer, but I still went for my master's and I still did my internship and I still became a therapist and I still moved to Panama and blah, 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 blah. To me, I was looking back and I was like, shit, I didn't allow this to stop my life.
Yeah.
It didn't stop me from achieving my goals, it only delayed me. So that's why I said, like, it came to show me how bad I wanted to be a therapist, because nobody would have blamed me if I went back to accounting, right?
Yeah.
Applying this in my everyday life means that when I'm being upset about some stupid shit, because I'm human and life continues to happen, and then I'm like, bitch, you survived cancer.
Yeah.
Why the fuck are you upset about this minor thing? Right. And it I snap out of that and back to reality, because
Yeah.
it helps me put it into perspective that if you overcame this, what is it stopping you from pursuing any other goals that you set yourself for, right? Like, so, and it's like when I tell people my story, and I heard this, and I think it's so beautiful that the apple tree doesn't eat the apple is for us. And I think that our challenges are for us to process them and transform them to inspire others.
Yeah.
So I'm not eating my apple. This cancer wasn't for me, it was for me to process it and inspire others. So if we take it from that perspective, it's like there is a reason for this.
Yeah. And sometimes, because I did it myself, and I know a lot of people do, they look for the why. And why leads to blame and shame. Like, why me? And you said, why not me, is a completely different reframe. But when you start looking for stuff, guess what? It'll come and it'll look like evidence, but it's not real, because you know what? Quite frankly, bad shit happens to good people. Full stop.
I encourage everybody to change the question from why did this happen, because even knowing why that happened is not going to make you feel better. To change the question from why to what am I learning from this, because if I can find a lesson on the event that is happening, again, it doesn't have to be a cancer diagnosis, but if I can find the lesson in whatever happened, then I can take advantage of that. So failure doesn't exist in my world, because if shit goes away, I always say we're either happy or we are learning something, right? So if shit goes our way, we are happy, and if it doesn't, we found that information about what not to do. So either way, you're winning.
Absolutely. And now that you are a therapist, I mean, not only that, you did your master's, you've obviously traversed years of growth in your professional career, in your use. What has, and you have specialized, that you specialize in trauma, anxiety, and depression, and you've actually lived
Yes.
all three. Would that be right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
how does having seen it on the inside help you hold space for your clients? Because obviously, that's as a therapist. Tell me about that part of your professional world where you've got this personal experience and now a professional experience of a decade. Tell us about that.
So, having lived through all three of those helps me to remain neutral about your experience, right? Like, trauma is so subjective because what is traumatic to me might not be traumatic to you. And the event is the same. But it's like, who am I to judge that you shouldn't be traumatized by this? Or why are you anxious about that? Or why are you depressed?
Mm,
What? So we have a tendency to judge ourselves. We are our worst enemies most of the time. So what it allows me to do is to provide a different perspective to my clients. So I think that my job as a therapist is to provide a different vision because when you are in the picture, you cannot see the picture, right?
yes.
I'm
Yep.
sitting here, you are telling me whatever shit, and I'm giving you a different perspective. I'm
So,
giving you a different perspective based on what you are telling me, because like I don't know,
yeah, I love that.
right?
So tell me about, like, after the second diagnosis, I did get professional help, obviously, because it was a prognosis. It wasn't just a diagnosis, meaning that it was, okay, Bron, it's an exit stage left for you in a certain amount of years. So I did get therapy, and I'm so grateful I did because that is exactly what my therapist did, which was, and I was expecting, like she was going to teach, all the things, but she was just literally like a sounding board. So, for our listeners who are experiencing stuff, whether it be early stage, whether it be in the middle of it all, or whether that's because I think the bit that gets forgotten the most is when you're finished active treatment and everyone goes, whew, I'm glad that's over. It's not over. Is it ever over? I don't think so. So, tell me about in that space, what's some advice you could give our listeners who are going through those various stages, and which one do you think needs the highlight?
So I think we all need therapy, independently of if you have a diagnosis, a prognosis, or no, or not. Because again, when you are in the picture, you cannot see the picture. So you need that neutral person to help you with a perspective.
I love that.
So so when people, my clients, there is this misconception about therapy that I'm gonna give you answers. I barely
Mhm.
know what the fuck to do with my own life, let alone tell you what to do with yours. Like, we are gonna find the answers together.
That is
Don't
therapy. Oh, sorry.
because you are the expert in your own life. So who am I to say like, oh no, Bron, you do this, you do, but I will help you find your own answers. So I'm sure that your therapist was like asking questions so that you can get your own answers, but not say that, "Oh, you do this or you do that." Excuse me, I'm not your mom to tell you what to do,
Yeah.
right? Like, so it's like, oh, what
Yes.
should I do? What the fuck do I know? Like, but we are gonna find together. We're gonna find out together because if I tell you what to do, so let's say that you want to hang that beautiful picture that you have behind you and I do it for you, right? Like, and then the next time you need to hang a picture, you're gonna need.
Yeah, right.
Instead, I show you what a hammer is, what nails are, and how to do it. But you have to pick up the hammer, the nail, and you have to do it yourself. Because next time you need to hang a picture, you already have the tools, you know how to use them, and you can do it yourself. My goal for you when you come into my therapy session to do therapy with me is to get the fuck out of to get you the fuck out of here, because that means that you got the tools and you go and do it. I do have some long-term clients which are in more the maintenance stage. But at the beginning, when we are talking about anxiety, when we are talking about trauma, when we are talking about this and about that, it's like for you to find your own answers. So you don't need my ass the next time that a question comes up. you have the tools and you can apply them. So it's like this independence thing I'm looking for you, not your depend. Oh, something happened. Let me call Zulma. Like, no, something happened and you have the tools to affront that. Now, of course, again, like life happens all the time. That's why we should all go to therapy. Like I have my own therapist. When I tell my clients, oh, my therapist said, they're like, oh, you go to therapy? I'm like, bitch, I'm a fucking human. Of course I go to therapy. You talk about me. The last thing I talk to my therapist about is your ass.
Well, you
Right?
are human. I mean, this is the thing. These experts, every expert in every part of what
Right.
we talk about, they're experts who are humans.
So because I experience all the shit that I specialize in, when I have somebody with me, I see those things, the traumatic events or the anxiety or the depression or the suicidal ideation, I see it as an opportunity to help. Because if I sit there with you and I fucking cry with you, we're not going anywhere. But
Yeah, right.
I cannot sit with you and cry with you. I'll see it as an opportunity to help. So I can remain close enough emotionally to connect with the pain, but distant enough so that we can work on it. Right? Like, because that's the friend that hugs you and is crying with you, and then you had to emotionally support your
Yes.
friend. It's like, I'm the one with the diagnosis. Your ass, right? Like, so it's like that balance where it's like I connect with the pain. And sometimes I do cry with my clients, but not to
Mm.
the level that it stops me from helping the situation, right? With helping with a different perspective or a suggestion. One thing that I say is, have you considered blah, blah, blah? Right? Oh, no, I never saw it that way. Boom.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Right. Because it's like, okay, now I can see this from a different perspective, and that changes everything.
I love that. And, that is why Serenity Project is called the third space, the space between science and soul, evidence and perspective. And the perspective comes from a lived experience. It doesn't mean that everybody that is on your committee needs to have perspective, but you do. You've got the perspective. I've got the perspective. And I feel that that's the important part versus going on, say, social media and seeing influencers who are in this space who are just walking through and sharing their life. That's called perception. That's perception.
Yes, ma'am.
We're talking about perspective because perspective provides space for you to go, cool, what's next? Not the whole game, like in basketball, not the whole game, but the what's next. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And it's like, again, it's like you are in charge of your life. So who am I to tell you what to do? Right? We get back to that. And it's like for young people who are, because I started my master's at 50. So, like, my classmates were half my age. And in the shit that
Rock
we
on, Gen
were
X.
reading, right? Exactly. And the shit we were reading on the book, I experienced. Right? Oh, let me check chapter 7, paragraph 4 about trauma. Like, no, I was an immigrant myself. I had
Mm,
cancer. I had suicidal ideation. I have abusive relationships. Like, so it's like, okay. It's like, your experience is not going to be the same like mine, but it's not
mm,
like I have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Right? Because I
mm,
can adapt my experience to what you're saying, right? And it's like, okay, I'll see the pattern, right? And I will communicate that to you. But what's happening with a lot of inexperienced professionals because they are so young is like because you haven't fucking lived enough. It's not
mm.
that you are wrong, but it's like the book only takes you so far.
You
Then
know,
it's
I Yeah, you go. Yep, you go.
your life experience that is like, okay, I'm offering this different perspective.
Yeah, and what came up, and that's why I'm sorry for interrupting you, was I remember, so this is after the second diagnosis. I'm sitting at the Cancer Institute and they said, I think, Bron, you need to see a social worker. Okay, had this social worker. Cool, great, come in. And I could see in the social worker that she wasn't listening to me because I could see that she was already formulating her answers in her brain, chapter 7, paragraph 4, and literally talking to me like a textbook. And I'm crying harder and harder. I bet if she thought I was a lunatic, I thought the whole building would have heard me. But I was crying because I did not feel listened to. So we go through this whole thing and I'm telling her how I'm feeling. I've got the 5 boys. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? We've done it before. Now we've got to do it again. How are we going to do this? And here she is textbooking me. And then at the end of the conversation, she said, well, I only work Wednesdays and Fridays. So if you need help on any other day, you'll need to speak to someone else. Do you think I went back? No. Do you think it was checked? No. And I'm sharing that facetiously because who's on your committee? If you have someone who's not listening or they're textbooking you, find someone else. And that's where I think from just the energy that I feel from you, Zulma, is the fact that you are so passionately creating space for people to find their own, in my world, serenity. Is
Yes,
that not the coolest thing ever? I'm so excited about that.
absolutely. And it's like, because nobody has the answers but you. So have you ever had, like I do this with my best friend all the time and I'm like fucking venting.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you're so smart. She said, I didn't say anything. I need to hear myself say out loud in order to come up with the answer. And that's what I'm providing my clients with. Instead of telling you, like, no, bro, you do this and you do that. It's like, I want you to hear yourself because you have the answers. So I was reflecting, and you keep saying my diagnosis and my prognosis. You are the living person of my motto, because look at you. You had cancer. Cancer is not having you because you could have
No.
given up with the second diagnosis. That, like, yeah, you know what?
Oh,
Fuck this. I'm not
yeah.
going to do it. And here you are inspiring others, creating the podcast, reaching out and telling people like this shit cannot own you, doesn't have to own you. So thank you for doing
Yeah.
this, because you are like, you are fucking asked me what that meant. Like, you told me what my motto means, because you are living
But it's
proof of
your
my motto.
well, the thing is, it's just like the thing is, I'm this, and I think it's just in taking that step, like someone listening might go, oh, well, what's the next step, Bron? Because everyone wants the to-do. I always, because I'm so visual. Here's the to-do list right down my arm. Everyone wants the to-do list. But what if there is not a to-do list because you don't literally know what's coming? Which is where, for me, I name the emotion of what's going on. And when they name it, psychologically, as you know, the research tells us we create space. And in my world, I look at control the controllables. What is controllable? Most of the time for me, I can't talk for anyone else, I can't control it. I can't control what the hell's going on in my bone marrow. I can do the best I can, but can I control it? The answer is no. And then that provides me space. And it's all about the space. What you're talking about here is creating a space where we can pause, we can reflect, we can then respond. Because I tell you what, guys, you'll know in your gut if you slow down enough to listen. And that's what space you're providing. Like, oh my God, you're a soul sister. We are soul sisters and
Yes.
we've only just met. Tell me about now then, is you're now living in Panama, which is a very long way from Port Macquarie, I can tell you. This is Friday. Welcome to Friday.
And I'm on Thursday. I'm in the
In your
past, you're in the
Thursday?
future.
Are you still Are you still working? Like, tell me where you're at right now.
I am on the beach, actually. So when I celebrated my 60th birthday on the beach in Hawaii, because Las Vegas is a desert. So
Yes.
I was like, it started getting so hot. I noticed as I started growing older, I couldn't tolerate the heat. As I moved to Vegas in 1999, and I moved out of Vegas in 2025. So I pay my fucking dues, okay? With
You've done your
the
dues,
but
and yes, it's bloody hot in the middle of winter, let alone
right in the
think what
middle of
summer's like.
right. So I was like, okay, I cannot afford to live on the beach in California or Hawaii, but I pray about it. And the answer was Panama. So my question to God, I do believe in God, was where does my soul needs to be to
Oh,
flourish? And I went to bed, and it was actually an Australian lady that I had a podcast. I was a guest for her, and she's an intuitive healer, and she suggested this, right? Because she said your
wow.
guys keep saying, like, what are you doing in the desert? You need to live by the water. And I'm like, yeah, okay, where is my fucking sugar daddy to so I can afford
Where
living
is
in
it?
the water, right? Like, so she said, ask, the universe, but I asked God because I do believe in God.
That's
And she
right, that's
said, and
exactly
then
right.
go to bed, and then tomorrow morning, just wait for the answer. Like, don't rush out of bed. The answer is going to come to you. So I did that. And then the next morning, it was so clear, like black writing on a white wall. It was Panama. And I was like, Panama? Like, where the fuck is that coming from? Because I was thinking Mexico, what up?
You want the resorts in Mexico, but you're off to Panama.
So my best friend's sister had moved to Panama a couple of years prior. So I reached out to her and say, hey, are you available to talk this weekend? And she was. So we talked, and I said, I'm thinking of moving to Panama. And she was like, oh, yeah, I love it. So she started saying all the great things about Panama. So I started doing my research, and everything started falling into place. Because when you are aligned, right? So I
100%.
I had my house I was renting, and I still had another year of my lease. So I contact the property manager, and I'm like, how can I get out of my lease? So I pay the penalty. I found a person to take over my lease. And then everything started boom, boom, boom. And then I found an apartment on the beach. Like, it's like I look out the window, not right now because it's dark, because it's the evening, but I look out the window and I see the ocean, and I go down, and it has an entrance to a private beach. Because the other thing was that I didn't want to live by the ocean. I wanted to be able to get in the ocean, because there are a lot of places here in Panama that you cannot swim in the ocean because it's dangerous, or it's like too
Mm.
rocky or whatever. So I found a place where, and I'm talking to the realtor. I'm like, can I swim in there? Because I never been to Panama before.
Wow. No, keep going. Tell me.
And she said, oh, yeah, you can, you're going to love it, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay. And people were asking me, like, oh, have you been to Panama? I'm like, no. So I came with 5 pieces of luggage, because that's what the airline allowed. So I put my 6 decades in 6 pieces of luggage.
Wow.
And I still have one to bring, because I can only fly with 5. But then I came here 5 months ago, and it's like every time, like, so I have a client who cancels. I put my bathing suit and I go to the water, and then I come back up and I see my next client. Like, if I get stressed out, I'm like, bitch, what are you doing in your apartment? Go to the water. Because I love being in the water. So, and that's my serenity too, right? Because like the ocean
Yep.
heals not only
Yep.
my body,
Yep.
but it heals my soul.
Yep.
And it's like, I am where I need to be right now, right? Like, and I continue to work with my clients in the United States from from here is right now it's only 2 hours difference. So I'm like, my God, like with the fucking time difference, it's like, like, can I see Bron? It's like, I'm going to be done. Like, what time is it? And so I started, so my hours were Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 12 to 6 when I was in Las Vegas. And here with the time difference, my hours are 10 to 3. So the reason why I picked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because that was giving me a 4-day weekend every week, so I don't get burned out. When I moved here, I was like, every day is fucking Sunday. So I open Sundays for my clients who work during the week, because 10 to 3 is like, bitch, I fucking work. I cannot see you, right? Like within those hours. So I opened Sunday and it was a hit. People were like, yes, I want Sunday. I want Sunday. I'm like, all right. Because every day is Sunday for me.
Oh my gosh, this is the best story ever. And you know what? I have this saying. I was just going to say, I have this saying, and it's, I know I will. I just don't know how. And that is what, when you're living in Serenity now, so what you're doing, exactly that. When you let go of trying to control it all and you just know you will, you don't know how. I call them miracles. Miracles happen.
Yes. Absolutely. And this is not to say that it was a walk in the park. Like
Oh,
I
no,
had my
I understand
moments
that.
of, it's a big transition. I lived 31 years in Argentina, 30 years in America. And here I am in a different culture, in a different country. But I'm like, you know what? I wanted to live and enjoy the ocean now, not when I'm 85 and I may not be able to walk into the water. I want to
Yeah.
be able to enjoy it now. So if not now, when, right? So it's like every opportunity I get, I put my bathing suit and I go down to the water, because there are people who cannot do that.
Yeah.
So to honor them and to be grateful for what I have, which is like, and I celebrate my birthdays big time, because there are people who didn't make it to 60.
Yeah.
There are people who don't make it to 5. There are people who don't make it. So when people are like, no, I don't celebrate my birthdays because it's like, I don't want to grow older. What is the fucking alternative? That you're dead?
Hang on a minute. By not celebrating your birthday, which is your day of birth, once your mum might really want you to celebrate it too. It's so important, because the gratitude of doing another lap around this earth, it is not expected. Like, 'cause tomorrow is guaranteed to no one. I love it. Celebrate
Exactly.
the heck. I'm going to Disneyland in Japan for my birthday in June. 14. My birthday.
Mine is 29. Like, I'm 2 weeks after you.
There you go. I'm going to Japan for my birthday
Yes.
because, well, we're going to, anyway, long story, but I'm going to Disneyland. Why? Because I love Disneyland. It is, and the theme song in Japan is called Reach for the Stars, which is obviously logo, stars. It's Reach for the Stars. If you go and look at Japan, go and look at the theme song for the Disneyland in Japan and go and look at the lyrics. It is the best thing ever. And I
Oh my
sit
God, I'm
there and
going to
I
do it.
allow it to just come and hit me, and I'm so grateful. So to me, this is how you end up at Disneyland in Japan. I don't know how that happened, or how you end up living in Panama doing your dream thing, which is feeling the ocean on your body. I mean, I remember when I was going through chemo, because I live near the beach. I would walk because I wanted Mother Earth to literally take the toxic part of chemo out of me. So people go, oh my God, it's all so toxic. It's meant to be toxic, people, but the gratitude. We have to thank the scientists. I sit there when I'm having infusions. I thank you, scientists, for squirreling away in your research labs for years to give me more years with my boys. Thank you. Even though I know I'm about to cop an absolute flogging within the side effects of the treatment. So well done, you. Congratulations, you. You are living serenity now every day. And yay, I just am so excited to hear that.
Thank you. It's like sometimes I look out the window and I'm hearing the ocean from my bedroom window. And I'm like, I created this for myself.
You did.
Like, I did it. Like,
You did.
I mean, yes, with the help of God and my friends and my family and all that, but I made the decision. And I found out on Sunday there was already like 40 degrees in Las Vegas and it's not even summer yet. And I was like, that's why the fuck I moved to Panama. Because it's like
look.
I suffered, like last year, it was 47 degrees. And it's like, that is not humanly possible. And it's like, no, like, and now I'm like, oh my God, like I've been to Panama City, which is about an hour and a half from where I live. And I miss, like, I spent the weekend there and I was like, I came back and I'm like, Ocean, I miss you. Like, because I was hearing like the traffic noises and the honking of the cars. And I'm like, what is my ocean? Like, I needed that break to really appreciate. When I came back, I opened the window. I miss you for 3 nights, because it helps you appreciate what you have, right?
Yes.
Because it's like, oh my God, like I don't want to lose perspective of that.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Now that we're getting towards the end of our episode, let's tell our listeners, how can people find you? I know. How can people find you? We're going to put all your links in the show notes. That is one thing I absolutely do. Not everybody does that. So tell me, where can people get hold of
So
you?
my website is dragonflytherapyservices.net, and all my social media is linked in there. My podcast is in there too. But my Instagram is the Swearing Therapist, and I have videos where I talk about mental health or certain shit about my life or whatever. Like, so check it out.
I love it. All right. Now, my very last question, as I did warn you, which is this
I
one I
don't
love.
want this to end.
Well, we're creating the timeline, my love. All right. So if someone is listening right now, but they're in the middle of their hard season and they're looking to find their ocean, what's one thing that they can take from this conversation that you would love them, just one thing to take?
I would like for them to know, if you woke up today, that means that your mission in life is not complete. Keep putting one foot in front of the other, and you're going to come on the other side of the challenge you're currently facing. Your voice is needed because you are the only one who can deliver that particular message in that particular way.
Well, Zulma, I want to say thank you so much. We will absolutely be staying in touch. But thank you. And thank you for being a part of Serenity Rising and sharing your wisdom and your perspective on living through cancer. So for all our listeners, if you haven't signed up yet for our weekly newsletter, please do so. The links are in the show notes as well. And as I always say, make your moments matter, because moments make memories, and that is how we make every day count. Have a good one.
Yes.
Thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great having you here. And what I would love you to do is leave a comment or ask a question using my fan link below this episode and on every episode that we post. I would love to hear your thoughts, your questions, and I'll get back to you. Have a great day and bye.